figured out, man.
All kinds of things figured out. That's all I do. That's why I run my life. I mean, the fact that I actually went and got all the pictures of the major undertaking.
Yeah. You
guys want to come in with it? You still have it okay? The worst part about it is this my son, you can't see the computers right now. That's the worst part about it.
Mr. Boyle, move your Coke.
Okay, I think we're ready to get started. For those who've been here the last couple years, you've heard Chapter 1 and Chapter 2 of the saga of Ben and his 2CV. I'm not sure if it's the final chapter.
Hopefully.
Guessing probably not.
It's a never-ending story.
No way.
We saw the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse on the way here.
But anyway, Ben always gives a very interesting and entertaining talk about TCB, and this is just more of the continuing saga of getting his car back together. And I think there's some discussion about Dyane transmissions, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so without further ado, I'll turn it over to Ben. And for 2CV fans in the audience, certainly, Ben's a very, very knowledgeable, very interesting to talk to about them. My business, I only do water-cooled stuff. I don't do air-cooled stuff, so I know absolutely freaking nothing. Okay, but with that, I'll turn it over to Ben.
Well, for starters, the other day on the Rendezvous page, I asked if I wanted me to touch on anything, and Garrett Ray, who some of you may know, he lives in Tennessee, he said he would Venmo me $5 if I entitled this presentation "Douche with a Douche." So it's done, and we're on Facebook Live right now. So I'm getting my $5. I can be bought. I'm pretty easy to buy.
I saw it.
You saw it?
I saw it.
Yes. So you're on Facebook. You're kind of like, see this guy here? He's one of those shadow people. He's like a secret society. You never see anything from him on Facebook, but yet he's there. You see his hair is on Facebook right now. It's where that's watching him. All right, let's see. My folks are fucking idiots. Well, you ever see the TV shows last time? Well, 23 months ago, right about now, my 2CV kind of caught on fire. Well, I didn't all catch on fire, see? And then and then on my way back from Carlisle 2 years ago, I got rear-ended. I had a Ford Focus. So that's the Peter Bandy part of it, the Ford Focus. That lady did not have her vision in focus, so she hit me. So
with a Ford.
And we're also going to talk about my Dyane gearbox, which, believe it or not, that's my Dyane gearbox. But that gearbox is from my 2CV. So it was literally in the car in that picture where it was on fire. That was literally my 2CV and Dyane transmission situation is very incestuous because my Dyane's gearbox now resides in my 2CV, and my 2CV's gearbox now resides in my Dyane. So they're going to come. Yes, but they both got rebuilt in the process. We'll talk about that. So like I said, 2CV on fire. Here's a picture inside of the artist formerly known as Dave Burnham's Citroen shop. He's kind of like Prince, except for the whole, not weird and not dead thing, which are both good things. I can barely see this. So there they are, putting the engine in my car. Funny story about the engine. I needed an engine. I had actually bought this engine way before the fire ever happened, because I was looking on eBay one day, and there was an engine in Utah, land of the Mormons, Book of Mormon, God too, Jesus Strikes Back. And it was a Burton motor in a crate for like half the price of what Burton sells it for. So I really kind of was like, you know what, you had to get half price. So I bought it, and it showed up, and it had FPS West written on the box. Anybody know who FPS West is? Anybody? Hey. So I called Kenji, what do you know about this? He's like, oh, that must be the engine that got stolen. FedEx. Yeah. So that's what's going on there. So there we are. My engine all ripped out. They painted my frame with like a zinc type of paint over the galvanization. And, what can I say? It was toasty. You know, everybody talks about, remember there used to be Quiznos sub sandwiches, remember those places? Remember those? It was toasted. Toasty. That was my TCB. Toasty.
Good enough, that's for sure.
Yep. So there we are. It's all clean. It's all pretty. In the meantime, for those of you who weren't here for last year, the car had already been repainted front to back, and it was really kind of it's kind of surreal. I've only seen the car twice in the last 2 years. I saw it last year at Rendezvous, and back in January, I went and saw this young man again, that former artist. Saw it at his place. And it was really surreal seeing it. It's like, since I didn't actually watch any of the progress in person, it almost didn't even seem like it was the same car. It was really kind of a weird feel. I can't quite describe it.
Doesn't look sharp.
Well, you know what? There's plenty of time ahead to screw it all up again. I mean, all we got to do now is have a brake failure going down the mountain. If you go and come places like this, it's possible, wouldn't you say?
Oh my God.
You know, getting all cleaned up, looking all pretty. Yeah. You know, they have that professional masking material there to keep the nasty on this off. You know, nothing but
New York Times.
probably the New York Post. I don't know. Is the Lancet a paper?
No.
I don't know. Gotta do that. You know, just it's been exciting for me to see all this happen, because that frame is 20 years old right about now. That frame was installed in New Jersey. It's a TCB City frame from England. You know, it was just really exciting to me, because it's like, I'd always pondered, when I was a young man, I thought I was going to restore it. But the thing is, who knows what song has the words, "When I Wore a Younger Man's Clothes"? You know what song that is? Sure. Piano Man, Billy Joel?
Yeah.
And what did he do to a 2CV? Anybody know?
Crash.
Exactly. So I thought I was going to run with his footsteps. I think I was going to restore anything. I thought I was going to keep it going forever. Little did I know that starting a car on fire is like the best thing that ever happened to it. Your insurance company gives you money. It's a heck of a deal.
Forced you to redo it.
What?
Forced you to redo it.
Yeah. But I do know a Beetle out there that started on fire. What they did, they cleaned it up. They cleared whatever the fire. So just like, for a split second, I thought about doing that for the irony of it, but I was like, Because that was the crazy part about it. The freshest paint of the whole car was the stuff that burned. All the old paint was still there and living life.
Strangest thing was watching it drive down the entrance ramp.
Oh yeah, when it started on fire, the starter was kicking on, so the car was moving on its own. And I don't, to this day, I'll never know really what happened. Some people have speculated that the starter kicking on was an after effect of the fire. Other people thought the starter shorting out was the fire, but we didn't go all CSI.
The lighter did a good job too.
What? Well, you know what though? I'm just throwing this out there. I recall once upon a time, a young man, local of the area here, telling a story about an almost new SM starting on fire. I think I recall that story. So you know what? You never know.
Never know, yeah.
You never know. The moment that you think everything's okay, that's when it goes wrong. Exactly.
I think it might not have been as catastrophic with the old one that had a tin air cleaner. Because I watched the air cleaner just melt away and continue to fuel.
I don't know though, because the paper hoses, which we'll talk more about in a minute, that probably didn't help. Citroen did a lot of really neat ideas, but I don't know that paper heater hose is really one of the better ideas. But you know what though? Some bean counter probably said, "Oh my God, we can save like 15 cents per car times like roughly 10 million A-series built." That's like a lot of money. That's not a bad maker. I'm not going to that man, but it's not going to. got it under control. I just talked for too long, that's all. All right. And by the way, that's my stainless steel Vietnamese bumper. Awesome. And that was last summer, just before the tariffs hit. That was my big order from Burton of parts. And we had them sent, some were sent in Alan's name, some were sent in Matt's name, and I think we sent some in Jonathan's name because we were trying to get underneath that $800 de minimis thing. And you know, as an aside, how many of you tried to buy parts from Burton lately?
You get an interesting message.
Yeah, if you go to Burton's website right now, it'll say they will not ship here. However, if you use a virtual VPN and they think that you're in Toronto, they'll take your credit card. And if you send it to, I don't know, dare I say Sarnia, Ontario, to Expo Convenience, great party store by the way, you all go there. They'll get your parts. And you go into the Blue Water Bridge and you come back and they're saying, what did you do? I went and bought parts for my car. Oh, great, have a nice day. Nice room. So yeah, I'm not gonna let no tariffs stop me. How many of you tried to buy other parts from here from other places? Lately, recently?
70% tariff.
Or who'd you get it from?
Italy.
Which company on the
It wasn't a company. It was just
It's
sellers.
wine. It's just wine.
Sellers.
It's wine.
As an aside, what's interesting to me, Cassie owns Burton. And I know of a package that made it from France to Michigan within the last few weeks from Cassie. You had to pay the tariff, but they did it. And I think it's very strange that Burton is not doing it, but yet Cassie is. I mean, you'll pay out the yin yang because FedEx always gave Burton a really good shipping rate. They ship Cassie's generally mail, and you will pay. You will pay. They stick it in and they break it off.
You pay the tariff and pay FedEx.
Yes.
Surprise.
And that's just a piece of my engine tin that shows the kind of the sharpness and the nastiness. And I believe that's probably Matt's hand. I don't know if Matt's here. He was here, but I don't know.
He was around.
And that's more melted, damaged nastiness. But there it is, all freshly cleaned. Because the interesting thing is, late 2CVs, the shields around the cylinder heads are made of this weird rubbery, I don't know, you call it maybe almost fiber. It's got some kind of a fiber to it. I don't know what you call it. But it's always nasty. It's always nasty. So I've been running metal ones from older cars. Let me think about this for a minute. I gotta think about this. So I got one set from you. I got one set from elsewhere. I don't remember which set came from. Oh, I remember. The other set came from the, I think that actually I bought that part from you back when, you know, when back when you were high flying, you know.
Businessman.
Well, I mean, this guy, he made so much. He was such a successful Citroen mechanic that, like, he had his name on shirts. I mean, this was pretty high-end stuff.
There you go.
I mean, this was crazy. I mean, you know, yeah. Some more of the same. And there's my Burton engine. Alan kind of twisted my arm. It's going to be 652cc now. So what I'm thinking is going to happen, I've actually hit a deer with this car before. So now I can hit the deer faster, more efficiently.
Elk, maybe, or something.
Well, you know what? I've never driven one where there is an elk. But
They should.
You don't have an elk.
UP's got
My
elk.
2CV has barely been in the UP. It's been in St. Ignace. And I've never seen an elk in the wild. I'm not saying it's not a thing, but I've never.
It's not that far from you. Right up to Harrison and take a right turn.
Yeah. And there's my engine and my gearbox. See, that gearbox was my Dyane's old gearbox. And when I had my Dyane's engine rebuilt, I had it rebuilt as well. We'll name drop it, fits back garage. I mean, you spend enough money, they give you clothes. It's amazing. And
It dressed you well, eh?
hey, I'm a sharp dressed man.
Oh, man.
You know.
Have they got the same
Hey, Ben.
gear sets as them?
Actually, what we discovered when we took that gearbox apart, it was not a Dyane gearbox at all. It was a 2CV gearbox.
Let me ask you this: is a right-hand drive and a left-hand drive using the same gearbox?
Yes.
Okay.
The only real mechanical differences up front would be the steering rack. I think that would be about it. And I suppose on a 2CV it would be a different headlight.
Yeah, because the shifter is maybe
The shifter is the physical shifter assembly is different. It's cocked. Like if you went and bought a shifter for a right-hand versus left-hand drive, they're different. But the physical gearbox is the same. It's just how it goes together. It's kind of strange because if you're sitting in a right-hand drive SUV, the shifter is like cocked over, I don't believe there's any right-hand drive ones here. Just to demonstrate, but whatever.
The turn signal twitches. The arm on
Yeah,
these is longer than the one.
the left-hand drive one has a longer turn signal stalk because if it's on a right-hand drive, it would interfere with the shifter. But I've never, I have driven one right-hand drive QC. The vast majority of my right-hand drive A-series experiences in my Dyane. It's kind of weird. Whenever I see a Dyane that's left-hand drive, it seems wrong to me, even though the vast majority of the Dyanes in this life have been left-hand drive. In my mind, they're all right-hand drive, so it doesn't seem right. Now, when I was in England, I rode in a right-hand drive DS. So I'm sure for some of you, did they ever make a right-hand drive SM? I don't even know. Do they?
Australia did a few.
Australia, they did, but that was a
Converted.
build,
Oh, that's not a factory deal?
No, that was
South Africa, they drive on the other side.
South Africa's right-hand drive, but I don't know how many, if any, SM were sold there. That's outside my realm of expertise. I know nothing. I don't even know if they still 2CVs in South Africa. Anybody know? I don't. If they did, it probably was minimal, but none. So there's my fan shroud. Getting all nice and painted. Recognize the building in the background? Yes. It was almost like, how should we put it? Almost like a Holy Trinity.
You got the words, kid.
That's a fun one.
There's the engine and transmission again, I believe, getting ready to go. Alan was getting ready to flex his muscles and show Christy just what he was capable of by bench pressing it. There's a picture of my oil cooler, the oil cooler. I mean, this was pretty exciting stuff to get pictures of. I mean, something else.
You get excited easy.
You know what? Some people get excited when they get hot weather in Florida, and I can't wait to get away from it. So it is what it is. It's already too hot. Yesterday was perfect, don't you think?
For anyone that's seen the car over the years, this is really exciting.
Well, here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. Some people will say things about what my car looked like. I will throw this out there. I've had this thing. It'll be 23 years ago this December. And it really, other than the hooded adventure, externally it really didn't look much different. But by the same time, over the years I replaced the frame. I mean, this is engine 4, who's counting? But all the other engines were various used engines that were obtained through one happenstance or another. I actually sold engine number 3 last weekend. It still had life in it, but it's kind of interesting. I'm looking to my Dyane in a minute, but my Dyane and my 2CV will both have fresh engine gearboxes. I'm hoping that I might be able to get to the next decade or two without actually pulling the engine out. We'll find out.
Get another 100,000.
100,000.
How many of what are you at on the 2CV? 110,000?
I put like 130,000 on it.
There you go.
How many of you in the last decade have driven your Dyane or your Citroen in general 10,000 miles? 20,000. I'll tell you what, if I was single, 30,000. 40,000.
I drove about 60,000.
Total, not
Yeah,
per
but
year.
Total.
What, like 40 years though?
Well, yeah, since 82.
That seems legit. I bet if you drove, I suspect if I took all the miles I drive every year in every vehicle, I'm probably good for 40,000, 50,000 a year. I bought a new Malibu in a couple more weeks, it'll fit 5 months ago. That car's gonna get 20,000 miles. And I get around it. You know, and people say, oh my, of course I've been to Quebec twice, and here I say the lands of New York once, and that's very time. You know, count it. I've driven further for less. So there's the engine, and somebody had actually asked me, I wish I could see better, but somebody had asked me to talk about the Reniflard. Anybody know what a Reniflard is? The breather. The breather. And how many of you have had experience with 2CV breathers? How many of you had negative experience with 2CV breathers? And you know why? Because they've got a rubber valve inside and they suck. The new ones you buy, they wait for it, suck. There was a guy in the Netherlands who made a metal reed valve breather, which was fast and superior. And by all accounts, the guy was a nut job. I would have thought 2CV was a nut job. But I have Frank Paltry from Quebec. He's at the French National literally today, right now. And he's obtained 5 of these. I'm going to be getting them reverse engineered somehow. So in the coming years, we're going to be done with this metal reed valve thing, or this the rubber valve thing. How many of you have tried to use a Burton rebuild kit in a breather? Did you have good success? But did it last? Well, you said, you know what? Because exactly. Because you were sitting as they were driving away, you were smoking your cigar and drinking your whiskey, saying, you know what? By the time I got the 2 taillight guarantee. Once it's gone, and then when they come back, they're not going to get a hold of me. So yeah, so I'm working on it.
Hey, Ben, you talk about the duct valve, the duct bill thing?
It's inside where you pour the oil in.
I mean, I had a Dusher, I never had a problem with it, but
They suck. They suck. I have bought so many freaking breathers over the years. People say, this one's improved, this one's better. The last one I bought, this was really great.
Does someone cut your fire?
No, it didn't. That doesn't do with the fire. Because actually, I've got the metal reed that was on the car when my car burned. But the last stock style breather I bought, I went 5 minutes and the clasp, the lid shut, broke. And a parts vendor who resides in the USA, who is not here, by the way, and I will not say his name. I heard that the exact same thing happened to him. But like I said, not here, not Pennsylvania based. But on the bright side, that oil that was flying out of my breather was a brand that was born in Pennsylvania. Anybody know? You know it. Wolfstead. Yeah.
hey Ben, I may be the only person that asks this, or just know this answer. And I no longer have a Dusher, so in a way I don't care. What does a breather do? I only heard about it after I got rid of my
Well,
Dusher.
it's basically, it's what's regulating the crankcase pressure. Like a PC valve, basically. But we're probably a little less high tech than that. But you know, it's because when your engine's running and the pistons are moving, there's all this air, it has to go somewhere. So it's regulating where it goes. You see what I'm saying? And if your breather's not right, several things can happen. You might get blow by, you might get reduced power, stuff like that. You know, you can't all have the performance of a Renault Lion convertible. And I have a great story about Renault Lion convertible. I'll tell you later. I won't bore you with it later. And I had my calipers rebuilt because, you know, the one thing I've never had happen in a 2CV, I've never been unable to stop. But you know what, though? I heard that rubber seals don't like fire. And I also had a Burton, and more recently has come out with an e-brake adjustment system that's way easier to use. It's basically based on a GSA, like that young man over there. It's so much easier. So I put it on both cars, and we actually just installed that like last weekend, and it really makes changing or adjusting your e-brakes so much easier. Just turn a couple things, and you're basically done. It's so much easier. I mean, it's amazing to me that they were concurrently building GSAs and 2CVs. And from what I've been told, these parts are identical to a GSA. You can literally take the parts off a GSA and put them on a 2CV. I'm amazed that they didn't just do that to get them. but probably some bean counter in France that was smoking some Gauloise cigarettes. And oh my God, we can save 5 cents a pound doing it this way. We got to do that. And there it is, all inside the car, getting ready to go. How's it going? Yeah, but you're still here. And you know, I'm really excited to see this because I actually had my Dyane dyno. Paul Brown dynoed his 2CV with 62cc, but I'm very curious what I would get out of my car because my car has fresh heads and stuff like that. He just put this. And there's my exhaust, my brakes, stainless steel muffler. This is pretty exciting stuff. Oh, and then we got to get the wiring. There's the wiring in my car. Because 11 years ago at Rendezvous, my car had what I call engine fire 1.0, where the wiring all shorted out in the manifold. And when we rewired the car last time, it really wasn't a professional job. So that young man over there. What?
Let's just leave it there.
Well, hey, you
Not
know.
professional.
Well, you know what?
That was up in New York, I remember.
Yeah, I don't have that Ford Motor Company retiree income. Actually, if you really want to know, I have no income right now. That's why I'm selling myself out to call my thing for $5. That's why I called it douche for douche. I'll take that $5.
Yeah, they called Dave Burnham the other day. We have a sign from Ben on the way home on the drop corner that says billboard for 9mm bullets.
Here's where your bridge is burned, party fun. I have all kinds of bullets at home. And there it is, getting together. It's all good. That's one of the more recent pictures. I mean, that's the last time I saw the car, it was parked right there. And it was cold. And there's a little bit better picture of my, that up in the upper right, you can see that silver ground thing. That's my metal valve breather. Because when you unscrew it and the valve comes right out, so you can access the valve. So if it got gummed up, you can clean it. You know, the stock setup, you can't access it. If you buy, you cut it open, and they put like a collared sleeve on it. Little junk. Oh, that's my 90 amp alternator. I got a 90 amp, there's one wire nip and denso. Do I really need 90 amps? No. Do I really need one wire? No. Will it make somebody angry and somebody not a purist? Yes. Does that make me happy? Also, yes. Oh, by the way, my 2CV, my back windows are going to pop out now, the doors, because that's what they were in Argentina. And why? Why not? I also have cruise control. Yes, I do. I've done No.
You have lane assist?
Oh, no, it has no lane assist. Basically, what it is, it's from France, Tech, in Germany. And you replace your gas with a metal plate on it. And you have an electric magnet. And when you push the pedal and you want whatever speed you want to go for, it's on a 2CV when you're fat and you're in the expressway, it's always you push a button. Magnetizes, holds it to the floor. And it's got micro switches, so if you hit the brake or the clutch, it still lets it go. So I mean, it's not real complicated, but it works.
That's what it comes.
It worked great. We drove it here last year, and that thing was wonderful.
According to the floor.
Yeah, imagine you would get a cramp.
Well, you do after you.
Sure.
Like I say, you know, I mean, we can't all drive Hondas from Ohio. or Pennsylvania, but you know, I'm just going to throw this out there.
Pennsylvania.
If you ever see me driving a Honda, you'll
Not in
know
Michigan.
that I've had a stroke or something really wrong has happened to me. That's never going to happen. Never. You forget who you're talking to. I'll walk.
My Honda doesn't break down, buddy.
You know what's a long time?
We built them in Ohio too.
Yeah.
Well, I'm from Michigan. You know, we think about people from Ohio. Go blue.
I can't pick that problem.
Go blue. We are.
We are Ohio.
And they all, you know, did you hear that Honda just posted their first loss ever? Let's see how that's working out for them. Cheers. I didn't make that up. That was just the news last week or something. Yeah. They deserve it. And that's my new heater tubes. This is a new thing because somebody in the UK is making silicone heater tubes.
Well, hell, you can get it for the dryer at home.
But
That thick.
pretty much. But you know what? If I had to do all over again, I might have gotten black. I think red's a little over the top, but I'm hoping that they're not going to burn. Because I mean,
Just gonna melt.
but yeah, you know, kind of like lava ice cream kind of stuff, like lava cake. And there we are. This picture is pretty recent. I mean, that's about as I understand what it looks like now.
It's got seats in there too.
Well, I don't know if the seats were ever actually out, were they? Not really. Well, they must have been because they sprayed the floor and red spray on bed liner. But I've never, every time I've visited the seats. And then what really sucks is those seat covers were brand new just before the fire. But from what I can tell, they weren't damaged. Because what it was, I had installed seat covers like, how about 6 years ago? And I'm not as, some of you who have met me today, you think, man, that guy's fat. You're not. But you know what? A year ago today when I was giving this presentation, I weighed 100 pounds more than I do right now. That's amazing. You have no idea. I found in Michigan, they finally found the perfect meth. You lose the weight, your teeth stay intact, your hair, you find that right. It's like hot water. You take a little bit of hot water, a little bit of cold water, you mix it up, and finally it's just, man, this is perfect.
You don't have Ozempic face yet.
I'm gonna let you a little bit of a secret about that. I was on Jaro, which is basically Ozempic. Everybody talks about losing all this weight. I gained 30 pounds of that stuff. I was on max dose. So next time you hear somebody say something, I don't like having
He doesn't do
I
sweets.
don't drink much pop anymore. You know, I haven't drank a lot of it, but I'll tell you what, I just don't feel that I can be in a run without a bottle of myself. This is like,
Except for that.
this is what makes life possible.
Notice it's still full.
Yeah. The problem with the Yankee, it's just like, look on that path just for a second. Mexican Coke used to be like a secret handshake. But now you can buy it at Dollar General. The thrill is gone. And in Michigan, Yingling used to be like this exotic thing. Now you can buy it at Sam's Club. So it's just lost its panache.
Really? You can buy Youngling in Michigan?
Yes,
All right.
yes. Even Florida. Did be able to thank you.
Well, there's my engine. We're gonna speed this up. Okay, there's my engine again.
It's the Dyane.
And now let's go move on to the Dyane. Back in September, me and my bride, we were on our way to the Gilmore Car Museum. Have you ever been there? Beautiful museum. And all of a sudden, my Dyane went, and it stopped. So we called AAA, and they called the tow truck. But there was a problem. A little while later, I got a call from the tow truck. And the guy had this wild southern accent. He's like, you know, I'm in Texas, and you're in Michigan. I don't know why they called me. And I'm not making this up. Truth is stranger than fiction.
Yeah,
So
we
we-
was feeding you at the Gilmore's that weekend.
So we got the gear, we got the engine out. And this is just back in, and there's the gearbox. Was because see that transmission's had a life too. So you probably can't tell the lighting here sucks, but the bell housing where the starter goes is all messed up. It was probably about 10 years ago now. It kind of broke. So I paid a guy in Otter Lake, Michigan to weld it back the other TIG. You know, and my gearbox. Cause I took him to the gearboxes. I took him my 2 CVs, old gearbox. That's why I went to your place back in January and got it. And I also took him to Diane's gearbox. Tell me which one's less screwed. So the one that went through the fire was actually less screwed. I mean, it still functioned. It's just that it had a ton of miles on it. I just couldn't see putting it in. Because with my luck, it would have blown out 5 minutes after I put it in. I've done that before. I once put a transmission in my lot. It was used. It went like 10 miles and lost fourth gear. To replace the one that had lost third gear previously. It was awesome. So we got it all put together. A bunch of pieces. And there's the same e-brake adjusters I talked about before. I had put on both cars from Burton. There it is, all ready to go. There's both gearboxes together. Yeah, there it is, all nice and crispy looking. Nice. It was that poor transmission. That thing was seen a life because I put 130,000 miles on it. I mean, that was like they always say that 2CVs, that the weak link is the gearbox. That was the one part that never broke. It held on. I mean, that thing had stories. I mean, I was 23 years old when I bought that gearbox.
So when you put them close together like that, do they go forth and multiply?
I wish. I'll tell you what. A gearbox for you don't even want to know what I paid for this gearbox. You don't even want to know because they had to do some welding where the muffler bolts to it. They fixed that. That's all TIG welding. You know, new brakes. I mean, don't really think about how many cars can take just the gearbox and get it back with a front brake job. Not many. I suppose a DS too. I don't know. Is there any other cars that? Well, I mean, not Citroens that have brakes. There probably are somewhere. I just don't know what they are. Snowmobile. There's inside goodies. Just various pictures of nastiness. All put together, yay. Get ready to go back in. Put it back in. More nastiness. 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 Get ready to go back together. Back together. Broken. Still broken. Put together. Broken. More parts. Bits and pieces. So, I have American. Well, this was the Dyane, which is another operation. But I had American modern classic car. I had a car insured for 15 grand. They must love me because literally 2 years ago this weekend, I got rear-ended on my way back from Carlisle. That was about 5 grand in damage. Then a month later, the car caught on fire, and they totaled it. And I got my 15 grand back. I paid about $1,500 to get the car back. And Michigan does not issue salvage titles if the car is over a certain age. So the car has a clean green title. Legally, it still is legit as it was before. So in like less than a month, they gave me more money than the car was insured for. And then I got my, then would have been, like, you know, not this year, but last year, 2025, I got my renewal for the year. They dropped my rate by $100. And I just renewed it. I just got my renewal for the year like about a month and a half ago, and it's still about the same. I have how many cars do I have insured with that one? 2 Citroens, the Lada, the Beetle, and don't forget the Center of the collection, the Chevette. Yeah, I pay about $900 a year. You know, I mean, here's the thing about insurance. You can't go by what I'm going by because every state has different rules. Every driving record, every zip code is different. But I have found that Haggerty is a massive ripoff. Massive. Like for me, it was almost double for the same coverage. Like double. And they're based in Michigan. American Modern's based in Cincinnati.
What did he say about
We're
it?
still going back together. We're almost done, by the way. Coming together. Coming together. Coming together. Yay. We'll talk about that in a minute. We're just about there. Getting there. Yay. Calipers and such. Putting it together. Getting it together. Getting it together. getting it together, getting the brakes done, all that. Just about that. Yep. It's so pretty. Okay, and that's it. So as for the I got 2 stories about the Dyane. Picture the scene. 6 days ago today. 6 days ago today. We had the Dyane back together. This is awesome. We're gonna go for a drive. Woohoo! Of course, right-hand drive. Working gear.
The new gearbox.
What?
The new gearbox.
Yeah, but I will throw this out there. There was some user error. And I was one of 3 people involved in this operation, so none of us can take all the blame or take all the credit. That's what I look at. I've heard that throwout bearings are very important. Yeah, so we kind of sort of maybe, because it was still tote. So it'll be fixed next weekend. I will probably bring the Dyane to the rendezvous. It all depends on a lot of situations, because the PCB is supposed to be done for me to pick up then. So I'm going to have, as long as I have somebody who can drive one back, I will do it. I will bring them both. I have not driven a Citroen since September. I have not had one at the last time I had a Citroen at one of these events would have been Rendezvous 2 years ago. So when the 2CV caught on fire, the Dyane was sitting there patiently watching things. Oh shit. You know, but the Dyane, my Dyane can do anything. My Dyane will survive and conquer. So I don't have really much anything else to say. Any thoughts on anything? I'm open to, we can just sit here and hang for the next hour. I don't care what's going on.
Have you considered designing a fire suppression system for your team?
Yes, actually I have. I'm going to use a blaze cut. You know what a blaze cut is? A blaze cut, they're quite common in the Volkswagen community. It's like a plastic tube that has fire suppression and under pressure. And what it does, if it gets hot enough, that plastic melts and
There you go.
so that's the plan.
In the engine bay, is it a halon tank or?
No, it's just a tube with stuff in it. There's no tank. I don't know exactly how it works, but I once saw a presentation at a Volkswagen show where they actually did it. I think it's just over 300 degrees. The plastic melts, and it goes. And you could go. And I mean, when I saw it, they did it on an old beat-up Volkswagen bus, and they set it on fire. And within seconds, the fire was out. That's exactly what it sounded
How
like.
did it go?
Yes. Yes. And you can buy it on Amazon. It's made in the Czech Republic or something like that. But it's called a Blaze Cut. That's the brand name. And some people say you should use a Element fire tube. They say it's less corrosive. Well, I don't know about you, but I want all the corrosion I can get. How many of you are my Facebook friends? At least some of you are. Are you familiar with the series on Facebook? Yeah, sure you are. I always post pictures of rusted cars, and I'll post pictures of rusty cars. I call it the series.
Oh.
See, you know what's going on. You're one of these you're in the shadows. You're on Facebook, but no one knows you're there, kind of stuff.
I can't let you on my Facebook page.
You're gonna have to take a picture of Matt's Honda Fit. It needs to be in the series.
Well, we already talked about Hondas today. But the rust fit. It did. Yes. So, anything else?
You're the man.
I'm not the man.
You
Here's the thing. You call me the man. In my sphere of influence, there's a young man from Hungary. He looks like he's 70. He claims to be 78. He looks like he's 35. And we call him Peter Bandy, but because I'm a good Christian man. When I refer to this young man, I refer to him as a different word. His middle name, it starts with an F and it ends with ing. And it's when my phone rings, it comes as Peter Bandy. What do I say, Miss Bo? What do I say?
Peter F. Ing Bandy.
Yes. All right.
Yes. I know you do.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I feel like I've made it in life. In the last month, I've gotten phone calls from Kenji. I've gotten phone calls from Peter Bandy. I got phone calls from who else? Alan. I get phone calls from. I once even got a phone call from some guy in Mechanicsburg about stuff. Something like that. You know, it's just crazy. And, you know, these people, they call you, but they actually want your opinions on things. I'm like, my God, what have I done? Yeah. All right.
Good job. Good job, man.
Thanks, Ben. Appreciate it.
Thanks, buddy.
Don't forget 6 o'clock.